Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Community. I am solo today, and I'm going to talk about something that is so important and something that I don't think we've ever really talked about on the podcast before, which is who makes a great social snippet podcast or social media client. And of course, when you're early stage in business, you want to say everyone, right? Like, I think everybody, when you get started, you're hopeful that, you could work with anybody and serve anyone in any way, right? I remember when Maria and I were getting started, I was kind of like, should we start making Shopify websites? Like, do we start doing this? Do we start doing that? And I'm so glad that she said no, because otherwise we would be so scattered, but she did give into podcasting. And so I'm grateful for that. And so over the last almost 4 years, we've really figured out like who are our most successful clients. And actually something that's really cool about our business that I just even thought about is the fact that we actually have a client that we've had since day one. So we have 2 clients that we've worked with since the moment the Social Snippet started, and they've been with us the whole time. And so we have a number of clients like that, actually, that we've been with for years, who we've supported through pivots, we've supported through growth, we've supported through downturns, through upturns, through the normal things that happen in business. And so I will say, though, I think for many people, we have 85 clients in the social and podcasting space. We love our clients. I can tell you, like, I love, love, love the mission behind so much of what our clients do. But I will say that we're probably not for everyone. And so I've come up with a bit of a list of things that I wanted to kind of share of who are kind of our most successful clients, who sees most success. But this isn't just about, maybe you're aspirationally maybe go to work with us one day. Can't wait for that. Maybe you are a current client of ours, which love this. But this could really be used for anyone who's looking to outsource almost anything, right? When we're looking to outsource social media, podcasting, web design, ads, anything, we really need to think about some of these things, because it's really easy to get kind of carried away with outsourcing. It's really easy to be like, okay, I'm going to outsource because I can't do it. And you hear a lot of messaging around outsourcing. And I have a few episodes that I've done before. One of my first episodes with Jeanette was about outsourcing, and we talked about how you need to outsource to be able to grow your business, and that's important. But at the same time, there's also seasons for outsourcing. And Maria and I have definitely had seasons where we've definitely over-outsourced, where we've outsourced things that we could have certainly done ourselves, or, maybe hired in a less expensive way, or we should have leveled up and hired in a more expensive way at the time. And then we suffered later. And so I think really just learning those lessons has been helpful, but really helped me kind of hone in on who our ideal clients are and how do people maximize the most amount of value when they get to work with us. The first thing is, and this one's a weird one, because you would think that the first one would be they need help with social, or they need help with podcasting, or they have a mission on their heart. And I guess in some ways that's true, right? You wouldn't probably be reaching out about social or podcasting if you didn't need the help. But the first one is, this isn't your last dollar. And why that's really important is because when you're outsourcing social media or podcasting, it is a long game. So even with podcasting, I tell people you are not monetizing that thing likely unless you have a massive audience for at least 6 months. So are you okay to invest the launch? Are you okay to invest, all of the editing? Are you okay to invest all of that up front, knowing that it might take a while for you to monetize it? And we've done other episodes on this, and there will be more to come about what monetization of those things look like. Like, monetizing a podcast isn't as simple as, hey, do you get sponsors? There's also monetizing it with your own programs, talking about your own offers. At the end of every episode, you hear us talk about the Social Business Club. We have people join from listening from that. So those types of things are really important, right? We monetize in other ways that aren't sponsorships, but it does take time for monetization. And so if you are holding on to your last dollar and, you're in your last 5K in your business or whatever that looks like, don't invest in social media or podcasting. And if you do a discovery call with me or my team and you tell us that this is kind of your last hurrah, we'll probably tell you not to invest ourselves. That's actually part of why we created the Social Business Club. Not because it's filled with people who it's their last dollar, but because we wanted to have a really good option for people who were really maybe struggling with growing their business or getting started with their business, or who didn't know what to do on social, but maybe weren't in the season of outsourcing yet. And so we have people all over the spectrum of of business, right? Like multi-six figure, we've got people who are just getting started, we've got side hustlers, and we've got kind of someone like kind of everywhere. But what's really amazing about that community is we're all kind of in community and support together. And do some of those people maybe will go on and work with the Social Snippet for sure, but we actually just love serving them in that way too. And so just knowing that as well is that, if this is your last kind of like, few bucks that you're putting into your business, your last ditch effort, social media is not going to be your saving grace. Your marketing plan is not, your website's not going to be your saving grace. Ads aren't going to be your saving grace. So depending on your business, I don't know what it is going to be. So if you're looking for that solution, this podcast isn't it. But what I will say is that hiring a social media manager is not going to be the thing that saves your business. I wish it was, because that would make me feel a lot better about things, but it's not. The second is you need to have time to test. And this is something I see all the time with people coming to us with social media, more so social than podcasting, is they come to us with, a dream or something that they're really excited about. And we're really excited about it too. Maybe they've got a really exciting launch. Maybe they're excited about something that is coming up in their business. Maybe it's a new product, whatever that looks like, a new offering. And it's tight. Like they're like, hey, I'm launching in 2 weeks. I'm launching in 4 weeks. There is not enough runway for that. So you need time to test. Recently had someone we worked with who had a launch in 6 weeks. That was still too tight. So we want to be working with people, for months before they're having a significant launch. So you need to be laying down that pre-work. There are a lot of, and maybe this is another podcast I need to do, but a lot of like kind of cardinal rules people make when selling. And I will say that one of the things that people do is they do not tease their audience enough with their offers. Maria and I recently did an episode about creating winning offers. We've gotten amazing reviews on it. But really, like something that's so important is that you're taking time to try things. You're taking time to learn from your people. So if you're like, hey, I am going to outsource this. I'm so excited about outsourcing this. I need this off my plate. But I need results in 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Then this is not the right investment for you either. You need time to test stuff. So again, that kind of goes hand in hand with the financial piece, but you really want to make sure that when you're testing things, you have the runway for it. And that doesn't mean that, you work with people. I've had people come work with us after working with another agency, and they'll be like, I was after this and I was doing social media with these people for 6 months and nothing happened. That is a long runway. That's too long of a runway. But if you want to test things out, you should see some results after 3 months, but you really need to be watching that, and you need to be making sure that you're giving it enough time to try some things. The next is, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, there is a season for you to do stuff yourself. And I mentioned this earlier, Maria and we went through like an outsourcing frenzy one time where we were like, we do nothing. We show up. Maria's in this room watching this video be filmed as we were rotating both recovering from food poisoning. And she just smiled and nodded because we basically went through this time where anything we could think of outsourcing, we were like, we will not be. If we could be holograms of ourselves at events, that was probably where we were headed. And we realized actually that one, that was a very expensive way to live, but two, we actually lost a lot of the joy of the stuff that we like to do. And we actually lost part of the things that we were really connected to. And part of what makes Maria and I think, great at what we do is that we're actually kind of still in it. We're connected to the things. We're still using social. We know how to do email marketing. We know how to do a lot of these things. I was laughing the other day with my team because I'm interviewed, and this episode might be out by then, but I interviewed this amazing ManyChat expert. And she was like, do you do this on ManyChat? And I was like, I've never opened ManyChat. I wouldn't know. I don't know how to do that. And I realized this was actually one of the first times in our business that there was something I didn't know how to do that now I'm kind of feeling the pressure. I'm like, maybe I should learn. But it's I didn't know. I get the theory behind it. I understand the philosophy. I even understand the strategy, but I couldn't go into ManyChat and build one today. And so that's one part of a season of a business. But there's also a scrappy part where you're the one building your ManyChat funnels. You're the one posting. You're the one on social. That's why the Social Business Club exists. Even maybe in podcasting. I think podcasting is one that's a little harder to DIY for sure. But if you are DIYing it, that's fine. It's fine. And I think sometimes you're in a season where you have to do that. And will you get the same results as probably outsourcing it? Maybe not. But at the beginning, sometimes you have to do these things to get scrappy. And so our ideal clients actually are typically people who have been a bit scrappy, where they've been able to see maybe some results. I can probably count on my hand how many times we have launch somebody's social, like from scratch, because usually people, they want to try it. And so that is really important too, is that sometimes you have to be in a bit of a scrappy season and try some of these things themselves. Another piece that has to do with that is our best clients on social and podcasting are people who show up themselves as well. So this is something, Maria's nodding, I see the nod, because this is something that we see go awry all the time where, someone will outsource their social media and they're like, well, I will never log on again and I'm done now. And that is just not going to work. It's not going to work. And I'll tell you why. It's because people buy from people. We live, work, breathe in a culture where we love to buy from others. And if that's the case, then we're not going to be excited about a social media that's super, super, canned, or even if a social media manager is the best social media manager on earth, they're not going to be the same as you popping on your stories and talking about showing up on social or showing up on whatever it is that you're doing. We have a few clients that we've worked with for years and years. I can think of one, they're a luxury item that they sell. Nothing performs better than him talking in a reel. Nothing. No graphic we make, no reel we make, no video we take, nothing performs better than him. And so we love to film them, and that's the best part. But it's really important to remember that people buy from people. And so we really want to make sure that we're showing up. And on the podcasting side, that's coming up with vision for yourself. And that's my last piece, is really having vision for your podcast, for your social. So when you're getting questions from your clients, writing them down. And even if it's passing it to your social media manager and being like, hey, here's the information, here's some of the questions I'm getting, here's things people are asking me, that stuff's great. But really, when you're like, hey, I'm so jazzed about this topic, and this is coming up in my industry all the time, and I really, really want to talk about it, then that is where a lot of the magic happens. And that is where a lot of the stuff that people are looking for and what resonates with them is what's going to matter. And so one of the things I would say is you want to have a lot of vision and you want to have a lot of insight, but you want to trust the experts. And that's where I think there's sometimes misalignment. And we've definitely had clients, we've had 85 clients. We've worked with hundreds of businesses. We've coached hundreds of people. And where I've seen us maybe misstep is maybe where we've had clients that they hold a lot of vision, but they don't trust us as the experts. And that is where it's really important that you need to hire people, whether it's us, whether it's another agency, whether it's a social media manager, whoever it is, that you trust them. And that if they're coming to you and they're saying, hey, try this. Hey, this is working right now. Hey, I'm loving this. Then really being able to go to them and saying, hey, yeah, I totally trust your vision. Let's give it a shot. We have had a lot of success with this where, we've tried things for clients and they've been really successful. Even sometimes when they've been a little I don't know if this is it. And so I'm really proud of that. But you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, you're providing a lot of trust in the people that you're outsourcing to. Because then there's no point of outsourcing. If you're going to micromanage the people that you're outsourcing to, it's just not worth it. We've been there where even we've outsourced things and I'm kind of I don't like the way they wrote that, or I don't love this, or I'm not obsessed with this graphic or whatever. And then I'm well, if even someone doing it Dan Martell style, 80% of the way I would do it is better than me doing 100% of it. And so when we're able to step into that energy, that's where a lot of the good outsourcing magic can happen. So that being said, social media and podcast outsourcing is not for everybody. I would say podcasting outsourcing is probably much easier than social media because, we're really kind of holding the vision on the social a lot more than podcasting because you still have to have all the conversations. But I think it's really important to know that if you are going to outsource, that trust is just so important. Sometimes it is about getting a little bit scrappy and remembering that has to be that runway. There has to be that time to test and enjoy the process. Outsourcing can be a really magical relationship. Again, we've had clients for years and years that we love working with every single day. So you can find those amazing partners in your business as well who are going to help bring you to the next level. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you're interested in ever working with us at The Social Snippet, feel free to reach out at thesocialsnippet.com. Have an amazing day.